Hi, Mark here. Friday, March the 27th, 9:45 a.m. Eastern, 1:45 p.m. GMT. Last trading day of the week. US session well underway, going into the afternoon portion of the European session. Let's have a look at the US dollar's performance. And we've had strong US dollar. You can see it on the index for the past 4 days. Looks like a bit of a turnaround as the US session gets underway. This was a solid green candlestick. You can see the wick left behind. So US dollar being sold off. If I zoom in on the hourly, there you can see over the past 2 hours a bit of a turnaround. We'll see if that continues and sellers do give up these gains if sellers of US dollar and look down at this support, perhaps even lower. I've got support at 99.64 and resistance 99.95. Buyers were almost at that 100 level, tough level. We know that on the upside. And sellers did step in. We'll see whether now the US session is underway, whether the sell-off does continue and from strong to weak US dollar on the last trading day of the week, or if buyers do step in again and get back up to looking at that 100 level. Let's have a look at the majors. There you see the euro. Similarly to the index, strong US dollar. There's the sell-off over the last few days, selling euro, buying US dollar. Was a solid red candlestick today, but already not much of a body left. Buyers of euro, sellers of US have stepped in. I've got support at 115. I've got resistance 115.47. Pretty narrow range for now. We'll see whether this does continue, buying euro, selling US dollar, and buyers look up to test, break this resistance level, or a resumption of US dollar weakness, and sellers look back down to this 115 level. Pound US dollar. There you see US dollar maintaining its strength more so against the pound than we saw against the euro. There's the red candlestick. I've got resistance at 133.49. I've got support at 132.69. A little bit of a wick over here, so a bit of a turnaround, buying pound, selling US. So US giving up some of those gains. We'll see whether that does continue and buyers look up at this resistance, or continuation of selling pound, buying US dollar strength, and sellers get back to that support area. US dollar against the yen. Still green candlestick. US dollar strengthening and has strengthened against the yen past 4 days. I've got support at 159.44, resistance 159.96, almost at that 160. You can see just how hard that is. This is the highest level that we've seen certainly this year, just under that 160 yen. See where the buyers can maintain this, test this 160, perhaps even higher, or if we're going to get a turnaround from strong to weak US dollar and sellers step in at this area and look back down to the support during the US session today. US dollar against the Canadian. US has been really strong against the Canadian, being going now since middle of March, when it was down at 135.47, all the way up. Now we've got resistance at 138.72. That's the resistance from earlier this morning. US dollar buyers haven't been able to hang in to that resistance level. A little bit of a wick you can see at the top of the body, but still a green candlestick, and US dollar has strengthened against the Canadian again today. We'll see whether there is a turnaround from strong to weak US dollar, and sellers look to bounce down off this resistance and look back at the 130 or 138.43, which is the support for now. So strong US dollar the whole week. We've seen demand for US across the board on the index against the majors. Continued early today through the Asian European session, but now that the US session is underway and going into the afternoon portion of the European session, we are seeing US dollar giving up gains now. We'll see if that does continue. We've got our resistance support levels to work with. Good trading, and I'll see you at the end of the day.